Hi everyone, welcome back. It's been a while again since I posted. Quite a few things have happened. I'm back in the park again in the centre of Munich. It's raining. It's quite nice though, because that means it's quite empty. And this is a really cool little art thing behind me, like art exhibition. Really old building. There was a tiny art exhibition inside. I'm not sure if the door's open, but I'm not going to go in. After I've recorded this, I'm going to pop to the bookshop and have a look at some books. So it's been a kind of tough couple of weeks actually. I know I was going to record a video actually about our cat Jimmy, who we adopted from the Ukraine 3 years ago. I never got around to doing that. I probably will at some point anyway, just tell the story. But we had a bit of what can I say? Yeah, a bit of a sad last 10 days. So last Monday, which was the 17th, I let him out about 9 o'clock at night when he went to bed. He's been going out quite a lot at night anyway. He wasn't neutered. We were going to get him neutered, but he wasn't our cat for the first 2 years. We only adopted him officially last summer, after his owner couldn't come back to Germany. He came from Ukraine, but he was a Moroccan student, so he had to leave Germany and go somewhere, another country that borders Germany. So we continued to look after his cat, and he's just the sweetest cat. He's British short hair, just a grey blue, just beautiful. We thought he'd be some mangy old moggy when he brought him. We were only supposed to have him for 2 weeks, and it turned out to be the most beautiful cat with these gorgeous blue eyes, and he was so sweet. I mean, tomcats are sweet in their own way. He was a bit volatile at times, a bit bitey, scratchy, but you know, if you read his cues, then you know when not to stroke, when you go over the top. So, we grew to love him the last year. He was just the best cat. And any photo, I've been trying to find photos, almost every photo I see of was him lying on his back with his big fluffy tummy up in the air, because that's how he liked to lie. He felt so safe in our house, and even outside in the garden, on the chair, he'd just lie there, just legs akimbo in all directions. Happiest cat ever. And because he wasn't neutered, he was going out a little bit now in springtime to try and find himself a little girlfriend. Last year and the year before he did it, but he would only go for one night at a time. Last year he went for 2 nights at one point, but it was I was worried, but then he did come back after 2 nights, and he was welcome back like the prodigal little cat, and we locked him in for like 2 or 3 nights after that. But this time he went Monday night and he didn't come back Tuesday, didn't come back Wednesday. By Wednesday I was worried, so I put a post on, it's called Nebenan, which is like a social network for neighbourhoods. You join it, you have to prove that you live at your address, and you only have connections with people in your direct vicinity or further afield if you choose to do like a public post, but it's only again within maybe a 10-kilometre radius. So people give away stuff, sell stuff, offer services, ask questions, whatever. So I put a post on there. People often look for their pets, and within hours I had a screenshot from a lady saying, "Is this your cat?" And it was a woman on another district who hadn't made her public post, her post public. I can't even speak properly. Saying, "Does anyone know this cat?" And it was this little miserable looking Jimmy sitting on a doorstep. And I couldn't contact the woman. I couldn't see her post because she didn't make it available for me, even though it was only 500 meters away, but it was the other side of a big road. And these women, 2 women in fact, tried to get in touch with her and said, "Please call this woman, please contact her, it's her cat." And then that evening she finally wrote back to me going, "Oh yeah, I'm back, no, sorry, the cat's gone." And that was that, but she had my number. And so I went, to her house. She finally also told me the address. She didn't even say where she lived. I mean, this area is a good, it's a good kind of 2-kilometre distance from one side to the other, plus, maybe one, so you're talking, 3 square kilometres. She could have been anywhere. And we did hunt. I had to, and we went out, and we did look for him, but he wasn't anywhere there, and he didn't hear. He was locked in somewhere. Was he injured? We didn't know. And basically I went out every morning 5 o'clock looking, because that's when they like to hear you. The road is so busy, this big massive dual carriageway through the city at the end of our road, with crunchies. One night, and I went out at night as well, and one night I had 4 cats follow me, because one after the other, because of the little crunchies, but no Jimmy. And I was getting really frantic. And then last weekend I had my daughter's birthday party, So I was hanging up missing posters whilst doing the scavenger hunt, which was kind of weird, but you know, let's multitask. Let's do things at the same time. And then finally on Sunday I actually went and climbed a little tiny mountain to a monastery with my little guy, and we went up, and just as we got to the top of the monastery I got a phone call from this unknown number, and it turned out it was this woman saying, oh, your cat's back, he's here in the bike shed if you want to come get him now. So I instantly called home, and I called my husband. He didn't answer on either phone. I was like, oh my god, because they were playing PlayStation. My daughter, they stayed at home, she was too tired from the sleepover from her birthday. So I did Alexa announcements. I'm like, you have to get Jimmy now, and he was basically straight up off out the door. And it was, say, 500 meters away. I had the cat carrier, unfortunately, in the car, so he had to walk down the road with a box that had like a hole in the top with a lid you could just put on, so you know he could breathe and he could hold the lid down. So actually it was quite a good box to carry. And when he saw him, he looked as miserable in the corner of this bike shed. I swear he'd been at this address all along. I even asked the woman if I could come round and just look around her garden and call him, but she never responded to that one. I mean, what can I do? I didn't have her number, her message, you know, I could message her once she'd messaged me. It was really frustrating. You know, nice she posted it in the first place, but she didn't follow up on it, didn't initially give away even the area she was in. So he went there, and he was basically in a bit of a bad way, and he absolutely stank of wee and was just huddled in this corner soaking wet. So he picked him up and put him in the box, but when he saw my husband he howled just with relief because he instantly recognised him. I mean, they had a great bond, those two. And on the way home he was carrying this box, and he got his little paws and his face, and he kept boffing up against his hands inside this box, just, you know, saying, take me home, and it's heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking that he was just so happy that we found him at last. And you know, I was so relieved and happy, but I was up this stupid bloody mountain, so we had to then walk all the way back down again. That was another 1.5 hours. It was 10 adults and 10 kids. You know, you can't force all these kids. The youngest was, I think, 2. My little guy's 7, but you know, we stuck together as a group. And oh, look at the forsythia behind me. How beautiful is that? So yeah, so we eventually made it home, and he was on the sofa, and he looked miserable, and he really was like soaked in wee. And I said, look, he's dirty, let's give him a little baby bath at least, because he was limping, he couldn't walk properly. Filled the big kitchen sink, we've got those big white ones, with warm water, like baby bath, test it with your elbow, and just dumped him in. He struggled a bit, but the muck that came out, and I think wee and grit, so at least he was wet anyway, so the bottom half of his body was wet. And then we wrapped him in a towel, put him back on the sofa on another clean towel, and then he started washing himself, and he found it easier, I think, because it was just water and not all this muck and wee and everything. I couldn't wash him properly, and I wasn't going to use any soap. It was just warm water. He just drank water, he wasn't eating anything, and he looked kind of miserable but happy, and he started purring even. I mean, my heart just breaks thinking how happy he was to be home. I mean, he just oh. And at one point before we got back, my husband went upstairs just to get something, and he was on the floor on a blanket. I mean, he came down, he'd climbed to the second step trying to follow him up the stairs. And now with hindsight, now we know what happened. The fact he managed that was insane. I mean, this cat was resilient. I mean, he had his 9 lives. He was amazing. And he also then tried to jump on the sofa, but he couldn't climb up, which is why he was on the sofa when I got back. I mean, my little guy, when he walked in, the first thing he said was, our house smells like the zoo. Because it really was, I mean, it was quite pungent, but I didn't care because my Jimmy was back. I was so happy. And then I updated the post going, okay everyone who found him, you know, thanks everyone for looking out for him. But he was really, obviously something happened. So next morning after dropping kids at school, I walked to this vet's at the end of our road, almost next door to where he was found actually, and walked in. The lady said, we don't have any appointments free, but you know, if you bring him in now, we'll try and look at him. So I did, and I had to leave him. They x-rayed him, and she was saying he can't walk properly, his bladder's really full, you know, he may need an operation, we don't know what it is. And she calls me like literally half an hour later. She went, I'm really sorry, it's bad news. And then proceeded to tell me that they'd x-rayed him and his spine was broken. He actually had a broken back towards the end of the spine, which is why he could walk at the front, but kind of that one leg was obviously kind of paralysed, and she believes, and me as well, all of us actually, that he was hit by a car or something, because it's a big road, they go fast even at night, and he's just a little cat. And I mean, there's so many cats get run over on that road. It's just so awful to think about. It's such a loving little cat, and there's like a gap this big, like 2-3 centimetre gap on his spine, but like, I don't want to get too graphic because it's just so horrible, but it really pulled it apart, and it also damaged his internal organs, and he couldn't poo. There was like loads of poo stuck in it. You could see it on the x-ray, and his bladder was also not where it's supposed to be, and there was nerve damage, which is why he couldn't actually go for a wee, and it was just leaking out. And he kept trying, even just all night he was trying to wash himself. I took him upstairs and he slept in our bedroom that Sunday night. He was on a blanket, and I woke up at 2 a.m. and I cuddled him and I made sure he was okay, and he purred. He was so happy again, saying happy to be home, and just he had such love for me and for my husband, the kids as well, but more for the grown-ups. He wasn't used to kids before, and he'd follow me around when I was working from home. He'd sit next to me or under my desk when I was working. I'd go and make some tea. He'd go downstairs to the kitchen, have some crunchies, follow me back up again. He was like a puppy. He was just the sweetest cat. He was quite demanding. The last 6 months or so, he did grow quite demanding, but in the sweetest way. And if anyone who's had cats or any pets really will understand that demanding animals are still quite cute and lovable. And I used to pick him up like a little baby. He let me finally kind of last few months do that, and I'd snuggle him and snuggle his little tummy, and just you bury your face in their fur, and it's just the best thing. So yeah, she called me, she went, "It's bad." She goes, "You have 2 options. You can either take him to a clinic where they can try and fix him and try and operate on his back and fix it and see if there's either spinal damage or just bone damage, and even like the internal organs, you can try and fix it. It'll run into 5 figures probably, the costs." Didn't have insurance for him because he wasn't a kitten when we got him, and he wasn't ours either. She goes, "And chances are it'll take weeks and weeks to heal. He'll be a bit of an invalid, may not be able to walk properly. You'll probably have to help him go to the toilet, number 1s and number 2s." And I'm just like, no, I mean, just even if I was swimming in money, I wouldn't do that to anything. And so I'm obviously in tears on the phone to the vet, and I said, okay, obviously option 2 is the only option. And she was like, "Well, I could do it soon." And I said, "Can I please be there?" She went, oh yeah, if you want to." I'm like, what? Of course I want to be there. Oh my goodness, Jimmy needs me. I mean, he needs me, I need him as well. So I called my husband crying. He was driving, he has a delivery job, so luckily he could actually answer the phone. I feel bad for him because he then had to continue working and delivering to people. And then I went straight to the vets, and he was already sedated. They'd already given him pain relief and sedated him, so he was awake and he could see me, but he couldn't really react to me. But at least he wasn't in pain. It was just heartbreaking. So I was there. So I put my hand on him, just kind of around the top, and I gave him Reiki while she slowly injected him. And yeah, it was really sad, and I'm still really upset about it. Jimmy was really the best. I've had a lot of cats, and he was the best we've ever had. We gave him a new lease of life, and he really appreciated it, like really big time. So yeah, I mean, pets, they become part of your family. He was like my 3rd child, and I knew something had happened. That's why I was out every morning looking for him. I couldn't sleep. I haven't slept. You can see I haven't slept properly in 10 days. I mean, Sunday night I didn't really sleep properly because he was there. I could hear him washing himself because he doesn't want to be dirty, and it was just so tragic. And then she went, "Oh, what do you want to do with the body? Do you want us to cremate him? Or if you have a garden, you're allowed to legally bury him?" I went, "Oh, really?" And I stood there, I'm like, what's my decision? And I said, "I'll take him." So we put him in the carrier, and I took him home, and I had him in the living room, and I made some tea, and I sat down next to him, and I talked to him, and he was just lying there. His eyes were still open, but she'd cleaned him up, like from the wound, from the injection site and everything. And it was just really peaceful, and it was just really nice. but then unfortunately, you know, everything was leaking out and I just couldn't handle the smell anymore. It was actually too much, so I put him on the terrace. But it was a nice day, and I made sure he was in the sunshine, and he was facing the garden so he could see the garden, which was his favourite place. And then one of our friends said he wanted to be there for the funeral, so he came over. My husband finished work early, and I picked up the kids at 1, and they were just devastated. I mean, they were just sobbing in the car. And my little guy, he's so empathetic, he's vegetarian as well. He loves animals, and he kept saying, please tell me it's a nightmare, Mummy, please tell me it's a nightmare, please tell me I'll wake up when Jimmy's okay. And then he even went on to say, I just don't want to live anymore now Jimmy's not around, I just want to die as well. I mean, it was just insane what he was saying. And then we got back and he wanted his little monkey, his monkey he calls him, his soft toy. So I bought him monkey and he cuddled him, just sobbing with him. And then he disappeared upstairs, and I went to hunt for him to make sure he was okay. And he was on the bed with all these soft toys with Monkey, and him and Monkey were telling his soft toys what happened, because he goes, they need to know, because they'll be wondering what happened to Jimmy if I don't tell them. It was just so sweet, and obviously his way of dealing with it, and obviously they need to know. I mean, he's right. It was just so sweet. I mean, my girl, she regretted not cuddling him more, that's what she said, but she was great. I mean, don't regret stuff. I feel guilty because I wish we'd found him sooner, you know, if he was in pain for days. I mean, oh God, I just can't even go there. Just pain and hungry, and you know, you feel so much guilt. You feel so much guilt. And I did do what I could. I did as much as I could, but maybe not enough. Maybe I sort of hassled that woman more. Please let me come round your place. I could have found him days beforehand. I don't know. But, you know, it's the circle of life. So, yeah, our friend came over. We have lots of building rubbish and rocks underneath our grass. So we had to borrow a massive pickaxe from our garden because our shovel also broke. Our spade, I mean, when they were trying to dig into the ground. So, and they then went, oh no, not that lovely, beautiful grey cat, you know, he comes in this little hole over here, he's a sweet boy. And everyone knew him in the neighbourhood. So I'm like, yeah, that's the one. So our nice neighbour lent me his massive pickaxe. He's got all the tools. He's an amazing gardener. He's in his 90s, but he's out there every day in his garden, grows all his vegetables. He's so cool. And yeah, so then we buried him. I wrapped in really nice fabric that I had in a cellar with little stars on it. And I planted some plants on top that I actually hadn't planted yet. I'd got them a few days beforehand. And then later that evening our neighbours came round and gave us a little tiny bunch of flowers, hyacinths and narcissi, that they'd got from their garden. And that was that. I put it on top and shed some tears. Oh, and the kids wrote a little love note each to him. Little guy's only just learned to write, so it was almost indecipherable, but so cute, just declaring their love for Jimmy. It's their first pet. This will hit hard for them. They'll remember this the rest of their lives. I mean, I remember actually all my pets, but the first one was particularly bad. So yeah, it's now Wednesday. It's 2 days later. It's yeah, the weather kind of represents my mood, I guess. Last 2 mornings I've gone out with my cup of tea and I've just talked to him. He's in the far corner by the playhouse, next to this little fairy house, and I've moved the fairies a bit that we have sticking in the ground, and I said, please look after Jimmy, and Jimmy look after the fairies as well. And we did dig deep enough, I hope, otherwise some other animals might come dig him up, but we dug as deep as the vet said I had to. Well, they had to. I didn't do the digging, I just did the crying. So I spent most of Monday crying. Had to go to the office yesterday, put on a brave face, and I was back home again today. So yeah, I mean, the silence is deafening at home. My husband didn't handle it that well at all once he was home, because, you know, he loves cats. He grew up with cats as well. His parents used to breed cats, Burmese cats. So it's just hard. So I just wanted to share that. It's been hard, from when he went missing to the relief of finding him to the absolute shock of losing him all over again, but the guilt of the pain he must have been in. But I'm just so glad that we managed to bring him home, that he had that last night at home with us, that he purred even, that he was happy and he showed his love. I mean, he was just wonderful. So yeah, I'll dedicate this video to my little Jimmy. my little love, my little boy, and he was the same age as my son, so they both had little 7-year-old boys, and it hit him really hard actually. So yeah, I just thought I'd update, and I'm sorry I haven't posted. I try weekly, but I'm really struggling a bit at the moment. Also with the office move and everything, I had to do a lot there. Now I have to travel over an hour to work, but I only have to go once a week. So I'm at home, but it's hard, really hard being at home without my little Jimmy. So big love to Jimmy. And yeah, they're filming over there by the looks of it. If I turn you around, that's the old courthouse. In fact, it is the courthouse, I think. There's a food truck and there's all the film thing. My husband used to work on the films in Munich. It's always the same ones. And that's the courthouse, so it's obviously some little court scene. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go to the bookshop now, maybe cheer myself up with a little book. It's yeah. There's actually a lot I want to. There's so many videos I want to record. I've got a huge list of videos. I just don't seem to get a chance to film things or do anything really. I don't know. My time goes away and I'm very exhausted. The whole Jimmy thing exhausted me. Monday afternoon, once my husband got home, I actually had to go to bed and sleep for an hour because I was so exhausted. And every time I think about Jimmy, I almost can't stay awake. My eyes get so tired. I mean, look, I've gone to bed at like 9 o'clock every night, which is quite late for me. I normally go to bed earlier actually, but you know, it's like mild depression caused by losing my baby Jimmy, because it just, your body kind of shuts down a bit. So I need to just grieve a bit. I need to just get over the loss and move on, and it will get better. Look at these pretty flowers. Munich's beautiful. It's a rich city. We have beautiful things. It's also frustrating, but never mind. So there we are. Sorry about the sad update, but hopefully next one better. I've got another one planned. I was going to do another video, and I might do another video about Jimmy and how we got him and find out some old videos of him. Most of the photos are of him lying upside down, like I said, so I can't really put a nice slideshow of pictures on. It's just his tummy. But we might have some videos that I used to send to his owner by WhatsApp. I haven't even told him yet, and just send him a message. I haven't had the strength to do that yet. So yeah, I know he'll be sad. I don't know how long he'd had him when he brought him to us. He was 4, but maybe he'd only just adopted him, who knows. Alright, so I went to that bookshop, which has a lot of English books in it actually. I discovered it last time. They used to have one down at Unplugged, which they had to sort of close down because Telecom took over. So Telecom took over the bottom half of the building, and they're kind of back at the top. But it's never quite the same how it used to be. I remember when I was a kid, when we lived here, we used to come in to Munich every so often with my mum, who was studying at the time, and she'd spend hours looking through the dictionaries because she's a linguist, she's a translator. And they have all these seating areas where you could sit, and we used to sit there and read Asterix comics and Tintin and things like that, and it was really cool, and they let you do it. So I went back to the new one, the one I want to show you as I walked up there. It's at Stachus, also known as Karlsplatz or Karl's Tor, the gate of Karl, one of the city gates, the gates of the city, the old town. And it's the beginning of the kind of the town centre for those who don't know Munich. And hey, look at this again, the courthouse behind me. It's actually quite nice because there's no one in this park because it's cold and rainy today. But anyway, so I bought the new Richard Osman book last time, 2 weeks ago when I discovered it, and a German book called Willow or something. There's a new movie out. I think it's about a girl called Willow, I think it is, like a girl with magical powers and a little pet kind of familiar fox or something, signed by the author. So I bought that for her, my girl, and I bought myself the Richard Osman. So I just went back to see if I could cheer myself up, and I found a book that I've wanted to actually read for a while. It's a teen book, so it's called This Book Kills by Vina Guron, and I've heard really good things about it. It's also being rained on. It's I think it's easy reading, which is what I need at this moment. And then I also bought, hang on, for my kids, these Legami pens, limited edition. That, if you know, the Legami pens are a huge thing in Germany in the schools. They're erasable gel pens, and they're all super cute. They've got bee ones, they've got cat ones, they've got sharks and llamas, and they're all so cute. They have little cute writing on them. What does that say? Chick to chick. This says, "No bunny like you." Sorry about my dirty fingernails. Yeah, so I've got this for the kiddies, and actually my little boy, his favourite colour is yellow, and my girl, her favourite colour is purple. So they get one each. They probably will be purple and yellow ink. They normally are. So I didn't really want to buy myself a book, but I did. So there we are. And I have 3 books on my list to read. These 2 and my book club book, which is Isabel Allende book, reading for book club, which I haven't started yet. I bought that second hand, so it's good. I like the fact that I got back into reading the last year or so. It's actually something that keeps me sane, keeps me happy, keeps me away from a screen. It's much nicer, and I've noticed my girl reads more when I read, and she's really actually getting into her books, which is lovely. And I also just wanted to add about Jimmy, because I got so caught up in the story. The fact is, Jimmy became a part of our family, and the fact that we gave him another life. We've taken rescue cats before, and they're the best cats because they know you've given them a better life, another chance. He could have just been left behind in Kiev. He could be one of these many homeless cats, stray cats that are just roaming the streets, but we gave him a life, and we pander to our cats when we have them. And he was just such a happy boy, and he'd howl in the night to be let out, he'd howl outside the door to be let in, but it was just the best. And I know I appreciated him, and he appreciated me. And my husband used to stroke him with his beard. If you have a beard, you stroke the cat with it. It's the same sensation as when their mother used to lick them as a kitten. So it's actually a really nice bonding thing. I go full sight here again behind me. There you go, it's a nice backdrop. So fond memories. I really like having him buried in the garden. I didn't think I'd like it. I thought it was a bit weird at first, but honestly, 2 days on, I've gone out there at least 4 or 5 times already and just stood there and talked to him and just made sure that he's okay, even though he's actually not even there in person, obviously. It's just his body. It wasn't his body when we buried him, but it's from a selfish perspective, obviously. We like to keep hold of things. So my Jimmy's there, and I can talk to him and make sure he's okay, and hopefully my guilt will slowly go. I feel like I did all I could to find him, but maybe not enough, and the guilt of the pain he must have been in, and the fear and scared, and that he was so happy once he knew he was going home. So yeah, he was just, it tears at your heartstrings, it breaks your heart every time this kind of thing happens. But again, we will just at some point get another kitten probably later in the year. It'll help the kids heal, it'll help us heal. But for now, I just want to remember him, and every time I talk about him, I just want to start crying. I just can't believe how dreadful I look, actually, even in natural light. Imagine what I look like in a public bathroom or something. It's just horrendous strip lighting or whatever. So yes, I'm going to go pick up my kids now from choir, and then we'll head home. I was supposed to actually be home tonight, but the family that we take in turns with taking the kids called off with 5 minutes to spare because their kid wasn't feeling great, so we had to hustle, and I had to get the kids into town, so which meant finishing work early, but I have to catch up when I get home. Alrighty, well, take care everyone. Hope the weather is better where you are, and if you have pets, give them a tight squeeze and a cuddle tonight because they're special. Okay, thank you. Cheerio. Bye.